All right. Well, I finally decided to make this, channel, video, blog, I guess, whatever the social media um, call it, I guess. I'm not a big social media guy, is what I'm getting at. But I'm going to try. Anyhow, so I want to talk about the Vancouver Canucks as they are my favorite team in the NHL. I ended up liking hockey back when I was in Ottawa. I was studying there, and they had the Ottawa Senators, and that was the team that got me interested in hockey. However, you know what? The Senators, they weren't that good. Anyways, once my studies had completed in Ottawa, I came here to Vancouver and still enjoyed hockey and immensely actually because of one particular line, and they were called the West Coast Express. Wow, I used to call these guys almost like ballet on ice. The passes, the skating. One thing about hockey, which I think a lot of people take for granted, is passing needs to be crisp. It needs to be on, and if it's not on, you're just messing up the whole play. Anyhow, passing is very crucial to success in this particular sport, as well as all the other attributes that you need to have. But passing is a very important one because it drives the play and it keeps the play forward, forward momentum. And you don't want to lose that, especially when you're driving the net or if breakaway, things like that. Anyhow, so here I am in Vancouver and my new home, and Marcus Naslin, Brendan Morrison, and Don Bertuzzi. Unbelievable. So they really got me involved in hockey and interested, and I became a fan ever since. So I watched this team once, those guys actually exited, and then the Sedins came on, and I was like, wow, how are we going to top this? How are we going to top these guys? And you know what? I think it was Brian Burke at the time. This man was smart, and he had a vision, and he could see that these guys were going to be good. He drafted them, and sure enough, Daniel and Henrik became two of the best players the Vancouver Canucks ever had. Anyhow, so watching those guys and almost bring us the cup in 2011 was amazing. Still a fan. And, so now I was watching that these guys were on their way out, and I was like, well, how are we going to top this? And the struggles at first, I was like, oh man, because, we all know how competitive the sport is, right? And how hard it is to draft and find good players. So you need to have somebody at the helm who knows what they're doing. So this, as far as I'm concerned, falls into the hands of Mr. Jim Benning. You got it. If it wasn't for Mr. Benning, I don't think we'd be in a position where he drafted Besser where he did. Pedersen where he did, I think, fifth. And then Quinn Hughes where he did. I can't remember exactly where these guys were drafted to be. To tell the truth, I don't have it in front of me. So, but anyhow, one thing that stands out about these three guys to me that he drafted, compared to a lot of other teams who drafted players first overall in advance of these guys, is that these guys made it in 3 consecutive years to the All-Star game. Granted, Quinn Hughes was voted in, but besides that, talent needs to still get you onto the ballot. So with Besser there in the first year, and Pedersen there in the second year, and now Hughes there in the third year, the bar is set. So I'm expecting the fourth year. who are setting on the fourth year, right? So I'd like to give Benning a lot of credit for that in this opening part of my video here, because without him, I don't think we'll be at the position we're currently at, which is first place in the Pacific, heading into the second half of the season. So kudos to Mr. Benning. Now, with that said, I want to take my turn on to the Lotto Line. Now, those guys, I mean Miller, Pettersson, and Besser. An excellent line as far as I'm concerned. They've died off, I've noticed, in the last maybe 15, 20 games. They're not as hot as the first 20. But even though they're not scoring at the rate they were, they're controlling the play. And that's what's important. To control the play, you have the puck. You have the puck while, you know what, you do what you need to do. So they're still doing that, but not scoring at the pace they were earlier. And I think it's because I would dare to say this, but as a fan, I look at the games and I can see that certain players are struggling. And I dare point fingers, but Besser is having a bit of a struggle on that line. This is fine. He's a young hockey player. He'll find his way. So is Miller and Besser, but some players develop at a different rate. Anyhow, so with that being said, the Lotto line I think for us has been a really good line, and the rest of the team sort of follows suit, and they're all excellent secondary players for now until we get into the rough and tumble kind of the series, which is the playoffs. So we won't fare very well there, with the core that we have currently. But to get our way there and stay in terms of our development for these players, it's amazing. It's really amazing. So, and you know what? One thing though you have to realize though is hockey's a sport. And these guys can catch fire. And I don't care who it is, but you catch fire, you can beat anybody. Keep that in mind. All right. Now the person I want to talk about is Jakey. Actually, Jake's probably, you know what? I would say Jake is probably my favorite player on the team. He's been on the team for a long time, and he's seen, I guess, a bit of the heydays when we were kind of just the end of winning with the CDs, so he knows what winning is like because he had those guys there, but he never really tasted it. But he has this skill set, and I watch this guy play, right? And it's almost like he's afraid to hurt somebody, or he doesn't believe in himself, or he's just being too nice. It's like, that's what I have an acting instructor, and that's what she said to me. She goes, you know what? You need to stop being so nice. And I think people that have this niceness about them, it kind of harbors us in some ways. But anyhow, I think that's what part of what Jay's thing is. But he seems to be figuring it out. And this season, boy, oh my goodness, like in the last 20 games or so, 15 games, I'd say. Who is this player? So if he can continue this trend, I think Jake is finally figuring it out, and I look forward to seeing him in the next 3, 4, 5 years. He's a true power forward. He's gonna just fucking smack guys out of the way, and legally, of course, and put some puck in nets, right? But Jake's another player that I think for this team is a really, really important cornerstone, and it's good to see that he's improving game by game. And finally, before I close this out until my next video, it's Quinn Hughes. Oh my goodness. This young defenseman, unbelievable. Unbelievable. I mean, things I see him doing like backwards, I figure he'd trip over his skate and things like that. But you know what? He knows how to skate very well, especially edge work. It's amazing. And he can shoot the puck at you, and he's got skills, and he's got... overall, this guy's name, Chelios. Was Chelios a defense? I can't remember. Anyways, I'm getting all excited here. But anyways, he reminds me of guys from back in the days, a little bit of those old school defensemen. And there's nothing wrong with that in hockey, to tell the truth. Old school defenseman style, but with a new school attitude and some serious skill. So that's what I see in this guy. And for him to be a defenseman and to be entering the All-Star, that's crazy. That's usually reserved for those fancy forward guys, right? But you can see why he was at the All-Star game. Put it to you that way. So I look forward to seeing many, many more seasons of Quinn Hughes. So actually now, back to what I was saying. Can we top? Well, I think this current core, and apparently with the other guys we have coming, like PuckZone and those kind of guys, team looks good. Anyhow, so I guess this video wasn't so exciting, but it was just mainly an introduction into who I am and actually who I am. Actually, my name is Keith, and I'm a relocation consultant for Tippett Richardson. So that's my 9 to 5. So if you're moving your home office or business, that's what I do. Anyhow, hope you enjoyed this, and I look forward to doing this again. Take care.